Hey guys, I'm Alex C.
And I'm Patrick R.
We've got a really cool video coming at you today. That's going to be our picks for the top 5 best AK variants. Most people we come across usually have an AK, an AR, or both.
Yep.
So it just makes sense to do a video where we kind of explain what we found works the best for us and what we found is what we just kind of cumulatively think's the best.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of these are off the market right now in the U.S. However, you can find used examples. I'll try and throw some prices at you. However, realize that these fluctuate because a lot of these are pre-89 band guns and stuff like that. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to it.
Yeah, let's go. I think we're going to start with the Galil.
Yeah, we'll start from our left to your right as usual. First, it's going to be the Galil, and this is a Galil ARM. You know, a lot of people would argue that the Galil is the best variant. It's definitely prolific. It's Israeli, and it's a development of the Finnish RK series. It's got some really cool features on it. Most notably, it actually does have a bottle opener built in. And now that's going to be your bipod retainer, and we can show a close-up of that sooner or later. But it's also got a wire cutter. However, wire cutters and bottle openers don't make for a great gun variant necessarily.
No. But I mean, just how the gun's laid out is what makes this one great.
Absolutely. What I really like is how it's got the upswept bolt handle, so that you can actually work the bolt by just reaching your hand over, and it's very comfortable. It's also got a folding stock that's very rigid and solid. The sights are also fantastic. It's got a real...
They are. I like the peep sights. That's something I don't like about the other AK variants so much.
That's always been one of the least appealing parts about an AK to me is the sights, but the RK series and the Galil fix that, along with having some cool features like night sights that you flip up, which are nice if you're fighting at night in the military. It's also got a safety lever. Instead of having to remove your hand from the pistol grip, you just flip the lever with your thumb like you would on an AR, which makes it so much more user-friendly.
That's another one of the features of this gun that I really do like.
Yeah, and Patrick, you can kind of show the camera that. He's actually moving his thumb, but you can see the dust cover comes down along with taking the gun into ready to fire.
I'm going to flip it around.
Yeah.
And the switch is just right here. It goes forwards and backwards. It's not like an AR variant where it rotates. But it does work very, very well.
Yeah. The downside, of course, is weight. These Galil ARMs especially are very heavy.
It is the LMG variant.
This is the LMG variant, but even the Galil ARs are still reasonably heavy. They're not as light as a stamped gun by any means.
Yeah, but really, though, it's not that heavy.
I probably wouldn't pick it as my...
Well, no, I wouldn't want to carry it.
Yeah. But it's nonetheless not bad, but at least they gave you a carry handle for the guys that do carry these. And Israel is phasing them out in favor of the Tavor, but I personally like the Galil better than the Tavor. I don't know why. I just like the fact that it's a conventionally laid out rifle maybe, but that's a different video. So with that, I'd say that the Galil is a great AK variant. It fires a cartridge I'm familiar with and I like, too.
Yeah, right,
leave that in there.
Well, I mean, I'm not real partial to, any particular intermediate cartridge, but the fact that it shoots something that I regularly stock because I'm primarily an AR shooter is nice.
Absolutely, guys. And if you're primarily an AR guy with a ton of 5.56, a 5.56 AK is no joke. 5.56 is a great cartridge, so kind of a why not situation. Now, the downside of these is they don't import Galils any longer. I know they make the Galil Ace, which will come in soon.
Right.
But these old school Galils, a pre-banned one will run you about $3,000. You can build one now for probably $1,500, I think.
I think there's a couple of companies out there that are offering kits that are a little bit cheaper, but I want to say that the receivers is the big hurdle.
The receiver, yeah, you got to find someone who makes receivers, and they do it in runs. So
right, yes, and some of those are even spotty at best, from what I understand. Now, if we had a micro Galil in our collection, I think that might edge out as my favorite.
Well, I mean, it goes under the umbrella of Galil variants.
Well, yes. No, I mean, just in terms of, usability and size and what have you.
For sure. Anyways, guys, that's the Galil. The Galil is a fantastic rifle. Israel did a great job with taking the AK platform and adding some bells and whistles, or taking the RK, which is an AK. But next up, we've got a true Russian AK variant. This is a Saiga Sgl, but it's based on the AK-74M, which is actually the Russian Federation's current service AK. So if they're using it, that means it's probably good enough for us to be using for fun and hunting or whatever. But I mean, tell them about some features of the AK-74 that we like.
It's a pretty standard AK. It's chambered in 5.45 by 39. You have your standard control layout that you'll find on any AK. One thing I really do like about the Saiga converted guns is the fit and finish is really nice.
The Arsenal ones I'd like to mention.
Well, yes, especially. Yes. The Arsenal guns are very well finished out. It's light, it's handy, it shoulders well. I'm not particularly fond of the sights, but that's kind of a ding that I give to
most.
Well, two out of the three that we have remaining. The furniture is something else. It does handle the heat a little bit better than the wood does.
Right. The 74M marked the Russia's departure from wooden stuff to polymer, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
They also lightened up the bolt to make the recoil impulse a little lighter, as well as did little things like reinforce the top cover there. And
I think they smoothed it out as well.
They smoothed it out, yeah. And a few other bells and whistles. I think they redesigned the muzzle brake a little bit. Don't quote me on that. I want to say that that's a thing they did. But anyways, you'll notice also the cleaning rod. You have to remove the muzzle brake to access the cleaning rod, which is I wouldn't call that desirable, but it's at least they put a cleaning rod on there.
I think I've tried to clean an AK with the cleaning rod a couple of times, and it's not quite long enough in many cases.
Yeah, no, it's
so removing the muzzle device.
Put them together, but it is what it is. However, it's almost endearing because of its no-nonsense simplicity to me.
Yes.
Which is cool. And then when you shoot one of these, you're like, so this is what those guys are using and working with every day. That's cool.
I mean, we've said before that the RPK 74 was one of our favorite, machine guns. And
also, guys, Larry Vickers has a really cool video he put out recently about the AK-74 in slow-mo.
Yes.
Check out that video.
Very, very cool.
That's a good stuff.
But we've said that is probably one of our favorite AKs to shoot. We didn't include it because it's basically the light machine gun variant of this.
Yeah.
But I mean 545 is just a wonderful run to shoot.
It is, and even though the 7.6 ban went through, it's still cheap, guys. It's not like
no. I mean I think it's right around $200 a tin.
Yeah, $200 a tin, which is fine, and even 750 rounds is something like $200. I'd also like to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. That's going to be Ventura Munitions. And Ventura actually saw that we did a video on assault rifles, and then we mentioned we wanted to do a burning AK-74 video. And they piped up and they said, hey, we'll hook you guys up with some ammo. So we'd really like to thank those guys for helping.
Absolutely.
Check them out too. They're a great company. And anyways, on to the next gun here. We've got I think we put, Yugo M70 series. Now, the reason I really like the Yugo guns, for one thing, Yugo mags are cool because they have a bolt hold open. Unfortunately, I couldn't dig to the bottom of the bin and find a Yugo mag. But that's one feature that's endearing. Another one is they have a gas cutoff, which is cool for launching rifle grenades. They also have night sights as well that you flip up, just like the Galil, but laid out a little differently.
Yeah, I actually, I think that the rear one's there.
Yeah. Now these are very old and they don't glow anymore. However, they could be made to glow. But these are great, low cost. I think about $600 or so.
I want to say they're under that right now.
So $600 high-end price on one of these guns.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite feature is they have an RPK trunnion, which means it's reinforced and they can take a whole lot of punishment, guys. And I'm talking, we've done mag dump after mag dump after mag dump.
Out of this gun, and admittedly, this is the AK that kind of beats us up a little bit. If you've heard us refer to it in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the punishment stick. But
yes.
You'll also notice our friend CJ redid the wood and he put a cool hammer and sickle. Now, obviously, Yugoslavia was a kind of a strange enigma, not technically a Soviet satellite state, but kind of I'm not, that's a weird situation.
I'm not.
But it is an inherently Russian design, of course, so that's kind of paying homage to that. If anybody asks, why is a Serb AK heavy?
Now, something we've done in the past is, one thing I do think is pretty cool about this particular variant is whenever you flip the grenade launcher side up, you can slow the cyclic rate down a little bit.
That's not intentional, obviously, but it's cool.
Yeah, no, it is. And it brings it down to a very chugga kind of rate of fire, which I do like.
That's a great bargain gun, honestly, and the Serb stuff is probably in my opinion, the best value right now on the market.
Yes, I'll agree with you.
But we'll get to that in a second. This is probably going to be my personal favorite next. It's going to be the Finnish RK series. Now, this is an RK 6276. The Finnish RK series were some of the first Western AK variants. They're very cool guns. They were some of the first AK variants to be imported into the U.S. even. Aside from guns brought back by GIs less than legally during Vietnam and whatnot. But these and the Chinese guns came in at roughly the same time. And these are just fantastic rifles. Where I have to pay lip service on this gun is going to be the sights. The sights and the way the dust cover locks just hold zero remarkably. And it's a feature that even the Israelis borrowed on the Galil.
On the backside, it's been it's kind of like a double thickness type of situation where it fits in really neatly.
And now they have an advanced variant of this called the RK95. The RK95 is this with more bells and whistles, and it's 7.62 by 39. This as a civilian gun is just a Jim Dandy rifle to shoot. Even they actually won our trigger pull test we did a while back.
It did. It did. Yeah, I mean the trigger on it is pretty fantastic.
Even the handguards are nice and comfy. Where I feel nice and comfortable with them.
I'm not too much of a fan of it. I mean it's a unique arrangement. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not quite as traditional as I would like.
Oh, so one more weird thing I'd like to hit on is this does have a wire cutter, but it's much different than the Galil. For this, the wire cutter, you'll notice the flash hider is in the shape of a trident. You basically put it into the wire, twist the gun up, and then fire the gun. And that's a built-in actual feature that they included in this gun.
It's kind of strange, but I guess if it works.
I mean, yeah.
Until you shoot your buddy in the rear ends.
Yeah, which would be bad, But anyways, the worst thing about these is they don't come with an adjustable front sight. So what I did is I took off the factory front sight and put an adjustable Galil front sight on there. I did not like that all the adjustment had to be done with the rear with a little screwdriver instead of an AK sight tool. So that's the one bad thing I had to say about it.
Now, one thing I do want to touch on is the mag release on this. I do actually like it quite a lot. I like it more so than I do your standard AK mag release. It's got a little bit of a thumb paddle that sticks off to the right-hand side. So if you're right-handed, it fits in real nice in your hand. Just it fits really well.
And I want to say I paid about $1,500 for this gun. This is also another pre-89 gun that was banned by import in '89, which isn't bad considering that you get a really quality AK variant in 223.
I have to say this is probably one of the best AK variants that I've shot. It's not my favorite, but it is really well built gun. Yes, I'd liken it to a higher end AR-15 if you're going to go ahead and say. Compare the two. Now, I want to say that there was some interesting trivia about this gun, maybe to do with a movie.
Well, I know that in Hollywood, before we could get actual other AKs from China and stuff, they were used in lieu of...
Right. I want to say it was Red Dawn, where they bought a bunch of them and converted them to look like Russian AKs or something.
They might have used some Valmets, but I think most of those were Chinese.
Were they? Okay.
Could be, who knows. But yeah, check out IMFDB. I know that...
there's a pretty extensive page on the Valmet.
Yeah. Anyways, so last, we've got one of Patrick's personal and favorite guns, I believe.
Yes, I like it quite a lot. Admittedly, it's kind of a Frankenstein, but more or less, it is a Zastava M92. But we said that the Serbian guns are some of the best values for money out there right now, and I mean that's entirely accurate. Now, mine's not really correct. I added a little Picatinny rail on top of the dust cover, which, to be honest, doesn't work very well, and I wish I hadn't done it. And then I don't even remember who makes the buttstock.
It might be an Ace, I think, or something.
No, it's not. It's a... the name eludes me. I'll annotate it.
But this started out life as an NPAP, I believe.
Yeah, actually it started out as a pop, M92 pop.
Okay.
And we had to break it down, build it on a new receiver as a result of how they cut it. But it's been reliable. It's a very handy gun, very light. Yeah, and I really enjoy shooting it.
All the Pop series guns, guys, are just fantastic and affordable, reliable, great guns.
I think that the Pop pistols are going for right around $400 to $450 right now online. These also have a night sight arrangement that they ship with, or low light sights, but mine has since fallen off because the recoil is fairly brutal with a little tiny AK pistol.
Oh yeah, big time. Anyways, guys, I think this about covers our list for the top 5 AK variants. We have a lot of fun with these, and we really should shoot them more. Patrick shoots this a lot, but you'll notice we haven't actually done a video on any of these yet.
No.
Is, I believe, kind of a sin, really.
Yeah.
But we'll get out there and we'll do that, guys. So
if there's one in particular you'd like to see, go ahead and drop a comment.
Absolutely. Anyways, we'd like to take this time to ask you to subscribe to TFBTV. We have a lot of cool stuff coming, hopefully featuring some of this stuff. And if there's anything else you'd like to see us do, we'd be more than happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Anyways, thanks again, guys. Hit that subscribe button, and we hope to see you next time.